Morning, lovely souls. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. It's a Thursday Ascension update, not a Friday Ascension update. Now, as many of you might have probably missed, there's a slight change in the proceedings at the moment. Like Diana Cooper and I are putting out three free, a 10-day Ascension boost, 3 videos a week, going out on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So those of you that are tuned in will have already received probably the first 2 of these videos. There'll be another one coming tomorrow, but to make way for all of this, I'm now doing my Ascension update on Thursday. So this is why I'm here today, and being joined by my cockerel as usual. So I hope you're all right. First of all, before we get rolling, I'd like to say happy 11/11. It is the 11/11 portal today, and traditionally a very, very powerful date, as is the 10/10, as the 12th of December, the 12/12. I know they're just dates, but there is a very collective intention that goes into the mix on a day like today. And also, if you look at the numerology, 11/11, what happens when the universe is usually trying to get our attention and tell us to focus? We get 111s or 1111. I know whenever I'm kind of like off kilter slightly, or I'm not focusing on the things that I should be, or if there is a opportunity for very quick and very powerful manifestation, and that is the symbol or the numerology that you will receive, 1111 or 1111, whichever way you want to look at it. And tonight I would have been presenting the Law of One workshop with my good friend Paul Carey, and I'd just like to I know most of you know that he's been taken poorly. He's in hospital at the moment being treated for bacterial pneumonia, and very happy to hear that he is kind of healing from this, but he's certainly not fit to sit. He's not fit to sit in front of a camera and present tonight. So apologies to those that were looking forward to our event together, but we will be reconvening at a time when Paul has healed. So sending you lots of love, Paul. If you pick this up or hear it, and we will come back better, brighter and stronger when you have healed. And I can remember my update or upgrade that I experienced physically, which was really quite something. I'll never forget it. I was sat in hospital being treated for exactly the same thing on the 21st of December 2012, having really looked forwards to the cosmic moment. Everybody was getting hyped up and excited or worried about it, depending on what perspective that you're looking at it from. And then I wound up going through a massive heart opening and an upgrade exactly at the day. I remember looking at my watch, it's like, oh wow, it's exactly the time that everyone should be getting excited about, just as they called me in for an x-ray. So that's sometimes the way it works out. And I expect a lot of you are wondering why so many of us, and you might be listening to this going through exactly the same thing, are experiencing these very intensive physical illnesses, upgrades, dis-ease, or whatever you want to look at them. And this has been going on for over a year now. I'd say more like 18 months. We've had the whole kind of planet lockdown thing, the narrative, the illnesses that are flying around, and it's brought our attention very much to the physical body. I think one of the biggest lessons that we've all learned during this period is to take responsibility for our own health, as within, so without. And I remember one of the first things that I put out at the beginning of this time is whatever you put in your body will either resonate or it will need to be cleansed. It's as simple as that. So if it is supportive of your physical, your mental, your emotional and your spiritual body, it will be integrated and become part of you, and it will shine out through the very cells of your physical persona. But if it is a poison, if it is toxic, if it is out of alignment with you, then it will do quite the opposite, and your body will need to clear it. And so that's one aspect of what's going on at the moment, and that's one aspect that we're being made very aware of. But the other is the a lot of us are signing our master contracts, or have committed ourselves to the highest level, to the highest pathway. Now, when we do this, it's not just I'm here, I've committed to my being the highest version of myself that I possibly can be. When you do this, it is a physical commitment. It's not just a spiritual commitment. Everything in your body and your surroundings will rearrange themselves to reflect this decision. Ultimately, it is the reason why you have incarnated here. So that master choice will come with a set of rearrangements, and some of those rearrangements are, in a lot of cases, particularly where I was involved, and many others, requires a kind of a rewiring, a physical upgrading of the body, and it's not necessarily particularly fun. You know, when the physical body cleanses or drops density, you will often feel your vibration drop, and you will feel ill, poorly, unwell, and your body will burn out, and it will expel toxins. And in the process of doing so, when that's happened, you are being remapped, you are being rewired. And at the other end of that, when you wake, and when you come out the other side of it, when you convalesce, when you heal, and when you step back up, the light level that you contain will be considerably higher than previously. The chakras that were blocked will have cleared. The karma that you have been sitting on for thousands of years will have been alchemized and will be turned into higher light. And so this is an ongoing process. So this is why probably you are seeing people kind of get knocked out of commission, who actually take a lot of time to look after themselves and kind of do it to the letter. Like, you know, you eat properly, you sleep properly, you don't kind of misuse or poison the body in any way, shape or form, but still these things are happening. And it's a case of whether you are looking at this occurring from a point of victimhood, or whether you are looking at it from a point of mastery. Because if you're looking at it from a point of victimhood, everything around you is against you. You know, like the very action of being here on earth is, you know, from the second you set foot upon this planet, you are having to defend yourself from this harsh environment. Once you've mastered that way of thinking, everything that happens within you and whatever you experience is a choice. So what have you chosen to put into yourself, or what have you chosen to think, or what have you chosen to embody and experience to reflect what you are actually going through at this moment in time? It's an interesting set of concepts. It really is. And the other one I want to talk about is, obviously he's noisy this morning, isn't he, that cockerel? The other one I want to talk about this morning is the level of knowledge or sight that we are getting with whatever is going on around us at the moment. A lot of us are feeling a little bit rattled, a little bit disturbed by the quantity of almost like the dark happenings that are occurring on this planet around us. As I've said in my previous video, these kind of like these shadows, these things that have been occurring on Earth for thousands and thousands of years, they haven't just started recently. They've been going on for a long time, since Earth has been in 3D, since we've been having this experience. But in order for the light to shine in there and clear it, it has to become visible, and we have to be aware. Okay, awareness is what is the key trigger for people waking up at the moment. If they don't see what is really going on around this planet and the people that are operating it and the way that they've been doing things, they're going to stay in that state of inertia. They're going to stay hypnotized. And that's not what we want. We want everybody to see. And that not necessarily a comfortable process, seeing what was hidden previously. And again, it's whether you are looking at this from a point of victimhood, or whether you're looking at it from a point of mastery. You know, we've all been victims in our past lives. We've all been victims in our current incarnation, because we weren't aware. We weren't aware of the power of the power of ourselves, and the decisions that we've made on this planet, and the choices that we made on a soul level when we incarnated. And it's a very empowering thing to realize that you are in charge of your destiny. You have ultimately created a set of circumstances for which you are growing into. It's very different now than the way it used to be. I mean, when we were kind of almost like, you know, traversing or surviving our incarnation in 3D, everything was such hard work, and it was designed to be that way. That's why planet Earth is so popular as a spiritual destination for gaining a huge amount of ground on a soul level in a very short space of time, because you can learn so much here, you can learn so quickly. But the tables are turning at the moment, because in order to step into this fifth dimensional frequency, we are having to flip the tables. We're having to reverse that psychology of 10,000 years where we have been led to believe that we are limited, that we've been led to believe that we are powerless, we've been led to believe that, you know, we are random happenings on a huge spinning rock in the center, and that there is no real kind of destination or intention for us being here. We know different now. We are taking what we have got that works and moving it into 5D. But everything, and I mean everything, that does not resonate at that frequency has to be left behind. It's what I'm seeing very clearly at the moment is the third dimensional matrix, and you'll have heard me talk about this before, is really showing its hand. It's been forced out to come into the light and reveal itself, because it's beginning to realize that there is no more opportunities and no more time to keep that vibrational space locked down and as many souls hooked into it as possible. So the more people unhook, the less powerful it becomes. But because it's been baited out of its cage, out of its cave or whatever, everything is now highly visible. The light is shining upon it, and we can see so very clearly the working mechanisms of this. Now, one of the most interesting and intriguing things that I'm seeing at the moment is the rollout of all of this technology that they are presenting to us as this Build Back Better, the kind of the fourth industrial revolution, all of this stuff that, you know, when we hear it, when we see it, when we feel it, when we kind of cast our minds into the potential future that this would bring, it's not resonating, it's not where we're going, it's not what we're going to be doing. But I've noticed that they're using technology that has been inverted. Okay, this is all Atlantean technology that's been in the works for 10,000 years or so, but was basically commandeered at the full, and is now being used and has been used continuously, along with all of the symbols and all of the alchemy, to keep 3D the way it is. Now, many times I've heard people saying, oh, that symbol is bad, or that word is bad, or that language is not to be used, it's for the dark. And another way of mastering our dimensional space and flipping things over from inverted to the right way up is to use what we want to use and what we regard as sacred, regardless of what the we will have been taught at school and in society that certain symbols are bad and certain beliefs are bad, and certain symbols and certain language and certain belief systems are good, you know, and they will have had their category, light and dark, good and bad, whatever you want to call it. One perfect example of this is the symbol of the swastika. Okay, now we will have known that this was used as a very specific symbology within the Second World War, but what was it used for before that? Okay, do a little bit of research into it, and you realize that it was only used to present that very dark energy for a remarkably short period of time. And what does collective belief do? It empowers it. But before that, it was a cross of the light. Okay, it was used countless times throughout all societies all around the world, dating right back to Atlantean times. And in Atlantean times, that symbol, the cross, the swastika, represented the fifth dimensional sacral chakra, which is very powerfully moving through its process of drawing us all into our higher levels of soul family at the moment. And this then goes into how powerful we are when we decide to use something, when we decide to use a symbol, when we decide to use a word or project or present an energy. It's not about the symbol itself, and it's not about the word, it's about the intention behind it. So you can say anything, you can say any sentence, any word, or use any symbol, but it is the intention and the force of your power behind it that creates it into what it actually is at the other end, when it turns into its end result. So for years I've been taking symbols that have been classed as dark or kind of certain patterns of behavior, and using them with the intention of the light behind it. And almost immediately it then goes into an alchemical process which then reclaims it. So I'm sure most of you do this automatically anyway, because a lot of our old pagan symbols, a lot of our old witchcraft symbols, particularly in England, anything that was kind of subjected to Christianity in the kind of the Middle Ages, were very much like, no, that is the work of the dark. You know, you can only use these now, and everything else was kind of like it was cast into the pit. And so we are very capable of reclaiming that and reinverting all this again, and getting back to my original point of all this technology that's coming through at the moment. We will not be using that for the purposes of which it is being created at the moment. We will be using this technology for the light. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that's coming through at the moment that looks like it's very anti-human. It looks like, you know, they've got like this very strange kind of dreamy little world about how humans and AI are going to merge together and kind of like live probably quite unhappily in this 3D world. Well, there might be some people that have signed up for this. There might be people that are like, yeah, okay, great, I'm in, bring it on. You know, like my virtual world, it will be fantastic. But I don't think that's certainly not where I'm going with it. And I'm certainly, I should think most of you listening to this will be feeling the same way. But we will need technology in the future. We're not going to go through a period of time where we won't have technology. We are increasing and evolving at an incredible rate at the moment. But the intention behind what we will be using will be pure and clear, as opposed to enslavement, entrapment, whatever they're thinking of, whatever they're wanting to achieve with their third dimensional matrix, locking it down and keeping it as safe and whatever it is, whatever they want to do with it, let them get on with it. And but for us, we will be taking this and building with it. It's just the start. And I know so many of you, and particularly people that I'm working with and have been connected with over the last few years or so, are really starting to embody that Atlantean technology that's coming through. And of course, because what we're working with is an Atlantean gold print, as we move into the next phase of our proceedings, everything that we kind of remember and that we bring through and that we start to manifest as our set of skills, or a collective set of skills, is all mapped within our navel chakras. It's all something that we are beginning to remember and reclaim. We're bringing it back down through our soul star chakras. We're bringing it out through personal memories or collective memories, or the trigger memories that we get when we meet people. And it's like, oh wow, you know, I remember you, I remember this. And all of a sudden those keys, they start unlocking all of these master codings within our bodies and fields. And of course, while all of this is going on, our teams and the ascended masters and the angels are kind of like, they're all like cheering it behind, like, yes, finally, they've remembered, they've got it. And all of this stuff starts coming through. So with all of this very oppressive stuff going on around us, as I've been saying so many times over the last few years, keep focused on the light. Keep focused on bringing the highest and the brightest and the most powerful intentions for you into your day, okay? And if everybody's doing this, everybody who's keyed in is doing this, then that is what we will create, okay? There's no ifs or buts about how the universal energies respond to what we are focused upon. It's thought, manifestation, reality, and the bounce back is very, very quick now. So all of the outside world will be attempting to distract you and draw you in and drop your vibration and try and convince you that you are enslaved and that there is no future, and it's all looking bleak and grim and very George Orwell and all of the rest of it. But no, that is not what's happening in any way, shape or form. But it's got to be visible, okay? It's got to be visible and something that we will be aware of and experiencing in our tangible reality around us, in order for the sleeping people, the people that have not broken out of their hypnosis yet, they have not unplugged from the matrix. If this doesn't occur, if the compression, if the intensity does not, if it's not sustained enough, then they won't have the opportunity to wake up. They'll just continue sailing on through, thinking that everything is as it is, and there will be no opportunity to wake up and unplug and step through the golden gateway. And so just be very aware of what is occurring over the next few months, and particularly today on the 1111 portal. People, and like, we will use this for manifestation, but every day is a manifestation day as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't have to be a full moon, it doesn't have to be an equinox, it doesn't have to be anything particularly special. Every single second or minute that you are on this planet should be as powerful as any other date, because it's you are creating that set of circumstances, okay? So wishing you all the most beautiful day, and tomorrow there will be the third video, the short meditation from the Archangel Guide to Ascension that Diana Cooper and I recorded a while back. And the same will be the same again on Monday. And next week, Mia Kafkios and I are running the first of our kind of deep autumn events, and that's looking at the union of divine masculine and divine feminine within ourselves. So that's going to be a really good workshop, and I'll put a little bit more information up about that in the text underneath the video. Sending you all loads of love, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.